much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Good evening. Good evening, and welcome to the Doc Watkins Show. I'm your host, Doc Watkins, and I'm joined by my buddies Brandon Guerra on the drums and Mike Porter on the bass. We are in a new trio configuration tonight in accordance with local guidelines. We have special guest Mr. Jerry Weldon joining us from his apartment in New York City. He's a wonderful saxophonist, and we're going to talk to him in just a little bit. We'll get to the music in just a few, but first, let's take a look at the Jazz Texas News. Jeopardy host Alex Trebek was spotted this week shopping at a Home Depot in Los Angeles, California. When the Home Depot employee asked Alex if he had any questions, the Jeopardy host responded, "What is vinyl plank flooring?" The International Space Station is revolutionizing the world of animal tracking by launching a new satellite system that lets you log on with your smartphone and follow your pet as it moves around the globe. For dog lovers, the tracking system also includes an updated list of all nearby fire hydrants. The system will also allow you to follow your favorite bird or tortoise or fish as it migrates and accurately reveal the exact origin of your recent order at Red Lobster, or where your pigeon came from that just pooped on your Tesla. Michael Keaton is in talks to return as Batman, a role he played nearly 30 years ago. Considering that Michael Keaton is now almost 70, this newest Batman script is titled Batman, in Need of the Nearest Bat Room. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Kristen Stewart is set to play Princess Diana in an upcoming movie that'll focus on the late princess's split from Prince Charles. When the multi-millionaire actress known for Twilight was asked how she plans to prepare for her role as Princess Di, Kristen Stewart responded, "Wait, you mean that's like a real person?" An 86-year-old woman in Rhode Island has taken her stimulus check to build a zoo in her front yard consisting entirely of stuffed animals. This stuffed animal zoo has been entertaining for adults who visited and traumatizing for preschoolers who think the reason the animals aren't making noises or eating any food thrown to them is that they're all dead. And finally, according to a new environmental study, scientific evidence is piling up that meat-free diets are the best. As a result of this study, Texas barbecue joints across the state are replacing their current menus, including the Rudy's in Leon Springs, which is proudly serving algae ribs, quinoa brisket, and half-link chickpea sausages, all served with Rudy's original almond milk sauce and delicious side of lentils. So come on down to Rudy's. That's it for the Jazz Texas News. All right, well, we've got some great tunes ahead for y'all, a wonderful night of music. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We're going to kick things off with the traditional standard entitled, Have You Met Ms. Jones? Thank you very much, everybody. That's an old standard called Have You Met Miss Jones? We want to give a big shout out to our man behind the cameras, Mr. Chris Zients.
Science!
With Wizard Broadcasting. Check him out, everybody. Thanks so much, Chris. This next tune goes out by special request to David on his 65th birthday. David had plans to go to Vermont to celebrate his 65th, and those plans have been postponed. But we'd like to do this song for you now, David, by special request. Happy birthday. This is Moonlight in Vermont. That's Moonlight in Vermont. Happy birthday, David. Thank you for the request. We'd also like to give a big shout out to our wonderful friends and partners down here in downtown San Antonio. Alamo Music, thank you so much for providing us with this beautiful new Kawai grand piano for us to use during these live streams during this time. So we love you guys. Thank you so much. That's Alamo Music again, everybody. We're going to do one of our own arrangements now for you. This is an arrangement that we wrote back in, I think, 2019 early on, and it's called Canadian Sunset. We hope you enjoy it. It's a lot of fun to play, and this is a traditional tune that was done a long time ago by Andy Williams. It's been recorded by just about everybody, though, so we hope you enjoy it. Once again, this is Canadian Sunset. That's Canadian Sunset, everybody. Thank you very much. Brandon Guerra on the drums, Mike Porter on the bass. My special guest tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is world-renowned saxophonist and veteran of the New York City jazz scene. He was a member of the Lionel Hampton Orchestra. He's worked with Jack McDuff, Joey DeFrancesco, George Benson, and countless others. For the past 30 years, he's been featured as the featured soloist in Harry Connick Jr.'s big band and was featured on Harry's recent television show on NBC. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome Mr. Jerry Weldon. Hey, Jerry.
Hey, Doc.
Hey, man.
How's
it going?
Baby? It's good. I enjoyed the set, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I wish you were here.
I love I love your theme song. Well, who's that? Your opening theme song. I like that.
That's off our record from a few years ago. That's a song called San Antonio Rose, and that's our big band recording of it.
Is that one of your songs?
Well, I didn't write that song, but I did the arrangement, and we recorded it in L.A. about 3 years ago, and so that's the shout chorus.
No, yeah. It's a catchy opener, man. I like you. I like the monologue. We got to work on that. We got to work on the monologue.
Hey, man, you try it without a live audience and no teleprompter. By the way, Jimmy Fallon.
That's a hell of a feeling. I admire your show business. Your show business joie de vivre is fantastic.
I have a leg up on everybody because for the last 10 to 15 years, we've been doing shows with a full house, and I've been telling jokes, and they've gone over exactly the same. So, most comedians they don't know what to do right now.
We got to work on that. We got to work on
because they know it's great, man.
Delivery a little bit. Yeah,
it's true. Guys, they get all the laughs, and now they don't get the laughs, and they're like, well, what do I do? And I'm like, I've never got laughs. So you know what? We're going with it, baby.
You wanted to be in show business, huh? So
we just, we have a good time. We this music, man. If you can't have a good time with this music, and there's definitely times.
Man, you guys, I enjoyed the set, man. It's great. How do you know? You don't remember Randy Williams, though, do you, Doc? That's
I grew up listening to that song.
Man.
It's a long story, but I grew up listening to Canadian stuff. It was played a lot slower. We decided to sort of ramp it up.
Gene Ammons, that was that's where Gene Ammons had the big record on Canadian Sunset.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. But I never met.
That's a great song. I enjoy. Yeah, but it's nice to hear some young guys, at least know who Andy Williams was.
Yeah, well, what can I say?
Great
Jerry?
singer.
So,
no, he was a big star back in the day.
He was, yeah. He still is in the hearts and minds of us all.
Yes.
So back to the monologue. Since you had to go there, you sat for 299 episodes. I read, in the dossier here, it says 299 was the number of episodes of Harry's show, and I don't know if Harry did a monologue or not, but you do a monologue.
He was very funny. No, he was very funny.
So what was the?
Did we do 299 episodes?
Well, that's what it says here.
Is that the official?
Okay,
that's the official. I know it was two. It was 2 seasons.
Yeah,
and we shot 2 shows a day. So I guess I could.
And if you figure there's 149 and a half days in a year times 2 years.
I guess that would work out, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the Flat Earth Society claims, and I subscribe to that fan club. So, show a day for 2 years, baby.
There you go. There you go.
So,
you
Jerry,
guys are doing a tremendous job.
I saw you guys right before the shutdown. You guys played with the big band with Harry at the Majestic Theater.
You told me that. I didn't know you were there, Doc.
I skipped out on a gig just to see you guys, and I got nothing. You didn't even acknowledge me from the stage or invite me on the show or anything like that.
You didn't tell me until about 2 weeks ago. You told me you were there. How would I know this? How would I know?
I was the guy with his shirt off in the 5th row, and I was yelling, "Jerry, Jerry," and they took me out because they thought I was yelling Harry, but I was really yelling for you, Jerry.
You weren't yelling loud enough. I'll tell you that.
And they got me out of there. So I only got the first couple. You guys sounded great.
Well, you might have seen the second to the last show of the season because they cut us off in the middle of the tour and sent us home. I think we went to Houston and then we went to Jackson, Mississippi, and then they called the tour off. So
is that the first time that y'all have had a tour canceled in the middle? Because it's happened to me every stinking time.
No, it hasn't.
I've never finished a tour. So it was like, I was born, this is my briar patch right here. This pandemic, I'm like, every time I tell a joke, I get nothing. Every time I go on tour, it gets canceled 3 gigs in, and no one shows up for my shows. And it's just me and the camera. I mean, this is great.
I don't know what to tell you, Doc. Just something. You might want to rethink it or something. I don't know what to say about that.
I thought I was just way ahead of my time,
I'll tell you.
Jerry, would you play? I know you have your horn there, and I know
sure.
I know you play the saxophone, and I've heard it in person.
Oh,
and we
once
would
in a
love
while.
This is a musical show, by the way. We would love if you would play something for us.
All right. How about a little B flat?
Okay,
B
I'm
flat
not going to play
blues.
along. It doesn't work, but go for it.
All right.
Jerry Weldon, everybody. Can we put up Jerry's website? I'm not through yet. But I want everybody to check out your website, Jerry. It's jerryweldon.net. And you got CDs,
Yes.
you've done records, you've worked with a lot of people over all the years. One of your first gigs was getting with the Lionel Hampton Orchestra, is that right?
That's correct.
How did you score that gig?
My friend Tom Chapin. I don't know if you remember Thomas Chapin.
I know
was a
Tom.
great saxophone player.
Yeah.
And we lost him many, many years ago. And he was on the band, and the chair came up, and he got me on the band. And that's how that was. That was 1982, and I stayed for 5 years, 1982, 1987, and went all over the world. That was one of the highlights of my life, working every night with the great Lionel Hampton.
Yeah, yeah. And you've played with some of my heroes like Jack
Yeah.
McDuff and Dr. Lonnie Smith.
Oh, yeah,
and Jimmy
sure.
McGriff.
Yep.
I saw Lonnie Smith and
Yep.
Jimmy McGriff at Yoshi's in Oakland, California, as a double bill, 2 organs, 2 Hammond organs on each side of this. It was amazing, man.
We did that. We did that a few times in New York. We did that at the Iridium, and we did that at Smoke. We did Jimmy and Lonnie and Reuben Wilson. They had like a little package deal. But yeah, I worked with Jimmy for many years. He's just he's the greatest. You know,
One of my favorites. Well, Jerry,
yeah.
You've got your website up here with the CDs, but I want people to go and check you out and follow you because you're
Yes.
doing some live streams around Manhattan. I saw you did a live stream about a week ago at Smalls Jazz Club.
We did a live stream at Smalls with Akiko Saruga, the great organist, and had a great time. Joe Farnsworth played drums, and Charlie Siegler on the guitar. And now, well, Doc, you know how it is these days. There's a live streaming that's how they're doing it until they can get people into the clubs.
Yeah.
They do a live stream from an empty club, and that's going to be our reality for at least the next few months anyway. I'm pretty sure.
Well,
how about you? You got any live things coming up with audiences?
we have this show, Jerry.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm saying we got, but you guys are taking a beating. I understand right now.
Yeah,
with the distancing.
It's as bad as it can get, but we're staying positive in the music. Getting together with Mike and Brandon, it's like we went the first 10 weeks and didn't play together at all. And the first time we got together, it was incredible. So we're doing
you
this.
guys, you sound great. You guys sound great, man.
Thanks.
I want to give a shout out to my buddy Chris Kimura down in Austin too.
Oh yeah, Chris Kimura's up there in Austin. He's doing live streams too.
At the Parker Jazz Club, which is a beautiful room, and well, of course I know you know about the Parker.
Yeah.
So I just wish you guys, as soon as the sooner you can get back, the better. I know these are crazy times we're living in right now. Really strange.
Well, we're going to do our worst and see what happens here in the coming months. So,
no, do your best. It's better. It's better.
Jerry,
Do
last
your best.
question.
Yes, sir.
I just can imagine, we brought you on the show. I was so excited to get to know you better and talk. And, I would imagine after 30 years playing with Harry Connick that he's such a superstar, and when we go to to see him, and everybody just goes nuts when he walks out on stage, and I imagine everywhere you go and you do interviews and people talk about what's it like to play with Harry, what's Harry like and all that stuff, and I don't want to talk about Harry because we wanted to bring you on because you're an amazing musician. You've played with so many people over the years.
Well, thank you.
Some of my biggest heroes, and I just I'm so glad to hear about your story. And if I could just ask you one question about your history and everything is, of all the musicians that have ever lived and recorded, who would you say most inspired Harry Connick Jr.?
Okay.
I'm just kidding, man.
the musician and Harry Connick Jr. Probably, well, he's got many.
You don't even have to answer. That was a setup.
That was a long way to go there, Doc. I tell you, a long way to go.
Jerry, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. You sound terrific, and we cannot wait to bring you to San Antonio and play at Jazz Texas, man. That'll be a blast.
How about next week? What do you say?
All right, Hey, man, the place. I'll give you the keys.
Leave the keys under the mat.
All right, will do. Thank you, Jerry. We'll see you next time, man.
All right.
All right. That's Jerry Weldon, everybody. Thank you, Jerry, for joining us on the show. All right, we're going to get back to some music. We'd like to do a beautiful standard. This is one of our favorite tunes. You've probably heard it many times before. This is Autumn Leaves. That's Autumn Leaves. Thank you very much, everybody. This next tune is by Henry Mancini. It's an old standard. It's one of our favorites. We've been playing this one for a long time. We're going to have some fun and swing out for y'all. This is a tune called, not Have You Met Miss Jones? We already played that one. It's called, what the heck's the name of the Days of Wine and Roses. That's it. We've been playing this one for a long time. How could I forget? Okay, here goes. Chris Zients.
Science.
Wizard Broadcasting. That's The Days of Wine and Roses by Henry Mancini, featuring Brandon Guerra over on the drums. Thank you very much, everybody. Well, on a night like this, we realize that many of y'all are stuck at home, and, we're getting kind of running out of options as far as stuff to do, and so many of you are getting creative and inventing things like your own board games and other fun activities and different recipes you can cook and stuff to do at home to keep yourself occupied. We here at Jazz Texas are one step ahead of things, and we've created our own very unique board game, which you can play right along with right there in your living room. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we give you the board game. Now, you know how the board game works. We pick two famous people, both of whom are boring. We compare the two, and then I get to decide who's the biggest bore. So, tonight on the board game, who's more boring, James Madison or Chris Bode? Well, on the one hand, James Madison was the fourth president of the United States. He's hailed as the father of the Constitution, which means that any time one of the 27 amendments goes on Ancestry.com, they'll find out who their real father is. Weighing barely 100 pounds and only 5 feet 4 inches tall, James Madison is the only president in American history whose body type was similar to Kourtney Kardashian. James Madison loved ice cream and often served the frozen treat at official White House functions, including his favorite flavor, oyster. In the 18th century, oyster ice cream was the second most popular flavor, believe it or not, right after meatloaf chip. James Madison entered politics at a young age and did not fight in the Revolutionary War. However, unlike other presidents, his reasons for evading military service had nothing to do with bone spurs. Not very compelling stuff. On the other hand, Chris Bode is a trumpeter and composer. Coming to prominence in 2001, Bode established a reputation for his ability to fuse jazz and pop music. So basically, if you can't get enough of Kenny G or Dave Koz, you'll love Chris Bode. If James Madison had to pick an ice cream flavor that matches Chris Bode, it would definitely be vanilla. Chris Bode was born in Portland, Oregon, and began playing music at the age of 10. As someone who also grew up in Oregon, I can assure you that when I was a 10-year-old kid, I never would have played with Chris Bode. Bode was once named as one of People magazine's 50 most beautiful people. Then again, so was actor Steve Buscemi. Chris Bode once said, "My greatest weapon is to understand what it is that I do." But if you've been to a Chris Bode concert, you'd say his greatest weapon is the ability to put you to sleep. It's really a tough call, folks, but if you had to pick who bores you the most, James Madison or Chris Bode, the correct answer is Chris Bode. And thanks for playing the board game. All right, we got some more music ahead for y'all. This next tune goes out to a very good friend. I've known Kimberly for a long time. This goes out to Kim Bianco. It's a beautiful George Gershwin tune, not Gorge Gershwin tune. This one's called I've Got a Crush on You. That's George Gershwin. I've Got a Crush on You by special request to Kim Bianco. Well, that's about it for us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We have time for just one more tune for you, but please tune in on Friday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, Texas time. We'll be back. We're here every Tuesday, Friday at 8 o'clock for the time being, live streaming from Jazz Texas, so please continue to tune in. We're going to leave you with one final tune by the great Horace Silver entitled The Preacher. Brandon Guerra on the drums, Mike Porter on the bass. My name is Doc Watkins. Thanks so much for tuning into the show. We'll see you back here Friday, 8 o'clock Texas time. Tune in then. Thanks so much, and good night.